This video is about the musical group. For the system of musical pedagogy, see Dalcroze Eurhythmics. For the art movement, see Eurythmy. Eurythmics were a British music duo consisting of members Annie Lennox and David Stewart. Stewart and Lennox were both previously in the band The Tourists, who split up in 1980. Eurythmics were formed that year in London. The duo released their first album, In the Garden, in 1981 to little fanfare, but went on to achieve global success with their second album Sweet Dreams, released in 1983. The title track was a worldwide hit, topping the charts in various countries including the US. The duo went on to release a string of hit singles and albums before they split up in 1990. By this time Stewart was a sought-after record producer, while Lennox began a solo recording career in 1992 with her debut album Diva. After almost a decade apart, Eurythmics reunited to record their ninth album, Peace, released in late 1999. They reunited again in 2005 to release the single I've Got a Life as part of a new Eurythmics compilation album, Ultimate Collection. The duo have won an MTV Video Music Award for Best New Artist in 1984, the Grammy Award for Best Rock Performance by a Duo or Group with Vocal in 1987, the Brit Award for Outstanding Contribution to Music in 1999, and in 2005 were inducted into the UK Music Hall of Fame. Eurythmics have sold an estimated 75 million records worldwide. Lennox and Stewart met in 1975 in a restaurant in London, where Lennox worked at that time. They first played together in 1976 in the punk rock band The Catch. After releasing one single as The Catch in 1977, the band evolved into The Tourists. Stewart and Lennox were also romantically involved. The Tourists achieved some commercial success, but the experience was reportedly an unhappy one. Personal and musical tensions existed within the group, whose main songwriter was Beacons, and legal wranglings happened with the band's management, publishers and record labels. Lennox and Stewart felt the fixed band lineup was an inadequate vehicle to explore their experimental creative leanings, and decided their next project should be much more flexible and free from artistic compromise. They were interested in creating pop music, but wanted freedom to experiment with electronics and the avant-garde. It was in a hotel in Wagga Wagga, Australia, while playing around with a portable mini-synthesizer that Lennox and Stewart decided to become a duo. Calling themselves Eurythmics, they decided to keep themselves as the only permanent members and songwriters, and involve others in the collaboration on the basis of mutual compatibility and availability. The duo signed to RCA Records. At this time, Lennox and Stewart also split as a couple. During the period that Lennox and Stewart were in The Tourists, and later as Eurythmics, they were managed by Kenny Smith and Sandra Turnbull of Hyperkinetics Limited. They recorded their first album in Cologne with Connie Plank. This resulted in the album In the Garden, released in October 1981. The album mixed psychedelic, krautrock and electro-pop influences, and featured contributions from Holger Zuke and Jackie Lee Buzit, drummer Klemberg, Robert G. A. Paragraph RL, and flautist Tim Wheater. A couple of the songs were co-written by guitarist Roger Pomfrey. The album was not a commercial success. Lennox and Stewart then activated their new Eurythmics mode of operation by touring the record as a duo, accompanied by backing tracks and electronics, carted around the country themselves in a horse box. During 1982, the duo retreated to Chalk Farm in London, and used a bank loan to establish a small 8-track studio above a picture-framing factory, giving them freedom to record without having to pay expensive studio fees. They began to employ much more electronics in their music, collaborating with Raynard Faulkner and Adam Williams, recording many tracks in the studio, and playing live using various lineup permutations. However, the 3 new singles they released that year all performed badly on initial release in the UK. Although their mode of operation had given them the creative freedom they desired, commercial success was still eluding them, and the responsibility of running so many of their affairs personally took its toll on both of them. Lennox apparently suffered at least one nervous breakdown during this period, while Stewart was hospitalized with a collapsed lung.